What if your son was charged with assault and use of a gun in Charleston, South Carolina? What would you do? I'm Greg McCollum, attorney and founder of the Complete Legal Defense Team here in South Carolina. Let me tell you a story about, I'll call him John. John's father came to me and said, I want to talk to you about defending my son John. He's a young man. He's just starting his life. He's got a bright career ahead of him. He's a very good kid, but he's been charged with a serious crime. It turns out that what he was charged with had been all over the news. And his son was charged with being part of a mob. They call it assault by mob, and also brandishing a firearm. When I met with the father, I asked him, I said, listen, this happened some time ago. I happened to see some of this in the news, and it's been a year and a half. And, you own a business, you own a house, you're affluent. I'm just surprised that you haven't hired a lawyer to represent your son John before now. And he told me, he said, listen, Greg, I went to some other lawyers. I talked to 2 or 3 lawyers in town and told them what I wanted. And they told me, listen, your son John is going to jail. He's going to prison. No one can stop that. For what he's charged with, how much publicity it's gotten, use of a firearm, there's no way he's going to avoid prison time. So John's father said, why would I pay them tens of thousands of dollars if all they're going to do is try to reduce the prison sentence? Can't the public defender do that? And even though I'd seen the stuff in the news, I hadn't really followed it. So I started talking to him. I started talking to John's father about the case. And his son John was accused of being part of a mob, going on other people's property, fighting with them, and going back and brandishing firearms. Now, there were multiple people in this so-called mob. There were over a dozen. There might have been even more than that. It might have been 20 people. And what I learned was that his son John had never even gone on the property. His son John was in John's truck, parked across the street, even down the street. Now, the witnesses, the people that lived in the house, who also were a part of this, ruckus and altercation, but what their version they told, they painted themselves in a much better light, as people often do. But one of the things I noticed about it was that none of the participants, none of the people that were charged, none of the people that pled guilty, none of the people who gave statements to the police ever claimed that John went on the property. The only people that claimed he went on the property were the so-called victims, the people that lived in the house. And they said that he was the one that did it. Now, I knew in these kind of chaotic situations where you have a lot going on, you have a lot going on, and it's dark, and people can't see, and they don't know what's going on, and they haven't given a description that's accurate. They can't tell what he's wearing. They can't really describe the weapon. They can't do any of that. And there were some other parts of the case, which I just know from experience, that something like that is not going to hold up in court. So we started defending John and went to the prosecutor, as we often do, and we laid it all out. We said, you don't have evidence that he did this. He, in fact, didn't do it. Here's who he is. He's not that kind of kid. He's a good kid. He does well in school. He's got a bright future. His family cares about him. Then again, the prosecutor, he wasn't buying it. He had made up his mind. John was the last person to prosecute, and he was going to trial if we didn't plead him guilty to the felony of assault by mob and brandishing or pointing a firearm. Well, we did that. We went to trial. We weren't going to sacrifice John's future. We were committed to defending him. At trial, as we expected, the witnesses could not place John on the property. They could not place him behind the house where the crime occurred. In fact, as we got into the logistics of it and their sight lines, They couldn't even say which way he came around the house, because on one hand they said he came around, from the left side, but their testimony didn't hold up. So then they switched it to where he must have come around from the right side. And it was unbelievable. And the reason it was unbelievable is because they did not see what they claimed to have seen. So we tried the case. There's no evidence whatsoever that John ever went on the property. The witness's testimony did not hold up, and John was found not guilty. So he's not guilty of assault by mob, not guilty of brandishing a firearm, and he got his life back. This is something that we do at the Complete Legal Defense Team. At the Complete Legal Defense Team, we defend very serious cases. We defend the accused who have a lot to lose. And both John and his father had a lot to lose. Their future was very important to him. Their future was very important to them. John's future was very important to his father, and he did not want his son to lose his future. And he did not want to lose his son and have his son go to prison. So if you're in this kind of situation and you need help, contact us at the Complete Legal Defense Team. At the Complete Legal Defense Team, we defend the accused who have a lot to lose. These are the kind of cases, these are the kind of situations people come to us for all the time. It's what we do week after week, month after month, year after year. So if you need help, contact us at the Complete Legal Defense Team.